Hi, this is George Alger. Welcome to today's segment of Our Ventura TV. Today we're going to be talking about creating a better world through aesthetics. And our guest expert is Jeannette Hay, who is the founder of Artists for a Better World International. Welcome, Jeannette. And what is Artists for a Better World International?
Hello, George. Well, Artists for a Better World International is a platform where artists can come from all over the world to get promoted, but also to see their aesthetics help the rest of the world. Right now, we have a situation on the planet where coronavirus is everywhere and people are enclosed in their houses, and they're feeling a lot of hopelessness. A similar situation happened when I founded Artists for a Better World. The very first International Arts Festival that I created was about to occur when 9/11 hit. And of course, there was tremendous sadness and loss of hope there. And it was the artists that stepped in, and we created all kinds of events to uplift society and give them hope again. And this is the most powerful thing that an artist does, is they can raise the level of emotion within society. And that's why I feel so strongly about Arts for a Better World International. Not the least of which is right now, so many people are stuck at home with their children and with the rest of their family. They can't go anywhere. And so they get depressed. And one of the things that an artist can do is help with that. And that's why we do the projects that we do. And they can start by creating something with their kids. When you create any kind of project or drawing or clay or anything like that, you start to feel a little bit better. There's this action of creation that uplifts your soul. And I think that this is very needed right now. And that's why I love what we do.
Very good. So you started this back in 2000, and that's when you had this festival that you're referring to in
Yes.
Hollywood, I believe, in a week.
Yep. It was in Hollywood, in Los Angeles. And we were all geared up. And then literally something like 3 days before 9/11 hit. And of course, a lot of my volunteers dashed off to New York, as many people did, to help out. And we had to make the decision, or I had to make the decision, whether or not to hold the event or not. We had people flying in from Australia, South Africa, all over the place, all these different artists. And of course, everybody was grounded. So one of the things we did was we created a table where first it was the children and then the adults could come by and create any card that they liked to send to the first responders in New York. And we were running out of paper. We were scrounging around for paper for people to do these cards. And every single time, these people would come to the table and they'd look sort of depressed and upset. And by the time they left, they had smiles on their faces and they were all excited that they were able to help in some way. And I think that's the same situation that we've got right now. Is like people want to help and people want to feel better about life. And that's where the aesthetics come in.
Cool. So let's take it down to a kind of a personal level here in terms of anyone who might be watching this, whether they consider themselves an artist or not. But as you're referring to creating as a way to uplift others, what would be your comments on how they may just be able to influence their household or their roommates or their neighbors?
Well, it can be anything. I remember my mother brought me a leaf one time and said, "Why didn't you draw this?" And I'm like, and she said, trace around the edge of the leaf and then color it in. And then I made it into a card and said, "Daddy, I love you," and gave that to my father, brought a smile to his face. So there's a little action like that can do a tremendous thing. And even if you don't consider yourself an artist per se, there's always some kind of creative activity that you can do to help the rest of your family. Help them paint their walls or do a drawing for them or play a game with them, even create a game with, drawing squares and things like that, whatever you want to do, and involve yourself and think of something other than the coronavirus. That's always a good idea. And that's one of the things why, Artists for a Better World International throughout the years, the many, many years it's been around, has created poetry books and all kinds of anthologies and other, mail art situations where anybody can, on a little card, can create some form of artwork and send it in. So again, it's another create. And I don't care if you're not a professional artist. To my mind, everybody has some form of creative outlet. And it's just a matter of deciding what you want to create and what you want to do.
Yeah, and speak a little bit more about this mail art program, since it's really something that's open to anyone, and it's a way that they can, they can just participate in a sort of global movement to express themselves some way creatively.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. Who knew that, mailing in a piece of artwork on a, 6x9 card would create such a stir, but it has, and it's become very, very popular, particularly now with everybody shut in and not being able to adventure outside. It's a way of expressing themselves and getting them seen because, we put their artwork up on the website, artistsforbetterworld.org, and there's a pleasure in that. And you can see so many artists from Pakistan, from, all over the planet, have this little card that they send in, and it, wins its way to Artists for Better World International and gets publicized. I mean, that's kind of cool.
Mhm. Yeah, very good. And let's speak a little bit about the idea of the arts itself, or just expand on the idea of the arts itself being an influence in society. Because I think, if a person is, let's just say down about the circumstances of COVID-19 and maybe not having a job, and I could get that they might look at aesthetics or artists being a frivolity when your very survival might be at stake. How would you sort of bring these elements together?
Well, if you look at the history of art, artists have had tremendous impact throughout history. For example, after the war, everyone was kind of low, and it was the motion pictures that brought them together and made them feel upbeat. And that's why they were producing all these musicals and emotionally uplifting stories, because they knew that would help. Even for that short period of time of watching the movie, they would start to feel a little bit better. And it's one of those things where, if you laugh a lot, if you force yourself to laugh, you'll start to laugh more easily. And if you sort of push yourself emotionally to smile, lo and behold, you will find a little bit later that it becomes more easy for you to do so. And artists have always uplifted society. They have stepped in when things are dark, and they have uplifted the emotional tone level of society every single time throughout history. And their works inspire. That's why, in the Dark Ages, even the Middle Ages, artists were revered because why? They created these beautiful pieces of artwork that inspired other people from villages and towns that were quite depressed at the time to, feel there's something more to their life than just the mundane everyday life actions. And, again, every building that you see, if you like a particular building, guess what? An artist designed that. If you, like something in your kitchen, the shape of the mixing bowl or something, guess what? An artist designed that. So, artists have tremendous effect on society, and they can illuminate unhappiness and they can illuminate sadness. I choose to illuminate happiness, and I think that has more of a positive effect to help society produce and be a better working community if they have artwork around them that uplifts.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jeannette. On that note, we're going to wrap things up. This is George Alger signing off for this segment of Our Ventura TV. Until we meet again.